Let's compare prices for a pint of beer. In many bars and restaurants in Parliament, which we subsidise, we the taxpayers subsidise, MPs pay about £3.90 for a pint of beer. Back in the real world, that pint could cost you, well, nearer double. You see, the problem with many of our MPs, and in particular those on the Labour benches, is that many are insulated from the effects that their policies bring. It was only when Labour MPs were banned from pubs in their constituencies that the pressure was felt. In the latest U-turn, which was swept under the bar as Sir Keir Starmer jetted off to China, Rachel Reeves backtracked on her increase on business rates relief by giving a 15% reduction to publicans when the new rates kick in April, to be held there for at least 2 years. Now, that, of course, doesn't help other businesses that were also caught up in it, but it's a small admission that the plan, frankly, hadn't been thought through properly. Or maybe Labour MPs just wanted to be allowed back in their locals.
The rising costs of running a hospitality business are slowly becoming completely out of control. You've got VAT at 20%, you've got an increasing energy costs, increasing costs of food and drink, NI on top of increasing minimum wages.
See, for many pubs, though, it's too little too late. Some have already shut their doors under the strain of VAT, the NI hike, minimum wage, business rates and so on. A bit like 84-year-old blind landlord of the Bell pub in Northants, Dennis Wilmot, who said that the sums simply didn't add up anymore. He'd been the licensee there for more than 56 years. Even at £5.60 a pint, there wasn't enough profit in selling beer. And to serve food, he'd have to employ a chef, and with the NI hike, that was out of the question. Or let's take the case of the couple who had planned to visit every pub with Bell in its name. Their target of 1,000 pubs was thwarted due to closures. Frankly, you couldn't have set this up better if you were actively trying to destroy the industry. Sadly, our Chancellor and her advisers clearly don't actually appear to understand this, or any industry, come to think of it. They've got everything back to front. We've got a ballooning benefits bill that is set to increase in claimants by nearly 1,000 people per day. How can that work? Seriously, how can all those people be signed off work? It's completely unsustainable. You've got Home Office employees being awarded inflation-busting pay rises at nearly 8%. For what, I hear you ask? For sheer incompetence, a backlog in processing claims, and for enabling our out-of-control borders. And you've even got an MP, Apsana Begum, still living in a council house, despite speaking out over the lack of affordable homes, despite her £94,000 salary, and despite her admission that she probably shouldn't be in it, as she probably didn't need it anymore. I mean, has she no shame? In a recent Ipsos poll, people of this country were more dissatisfied than during the crash in 2008. Everything is so expensive, and our government don't appear to have a Scooby-Doo. Their answer is to tax it. With their subsidised eateries and their position as an MP, which comes with privilege, and their lack of understanding, I'm afraid, sadly, many in our government have frequented the halls of Westminster for too long and haven't got the faintest idea how the real world lives.
Your personal data could be exposed right now without you even knowing it. And if you want it removed, use incogni.com/GB News in the description now and get 60% off an annual plan on us. Incogni reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information be deleted from their databases. And they'll keep sending removal requests to make sure your data stays gone. Sometimes your information ends up on strange, obscure websites that automated tools just can't reach. And that's why Incogni just launched their unlimited plan with a feature called custom removals. With this, you can submit any link where your personal information appears, literally paste in the URL, and their privacy team will investigate and work to get it removed. And getting started is super easy. Hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account, and tell them whose data you want removed. Grant them permission to work on your behalf, and then all you've got to do is sit back and relax. They'll keep you updated along the way. Incogni is totally risk-free for 30 days. If you try it, it's not for you, you'll get a full refund. So take back control of your personal data today with Incogni. Use our code GBNews at checkout via the link in the description, and you'll get 60% off an annual plan.
But before we get stuck into the debates, here's what else is coming up today. For the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, should Angela Rayner oust Sir Keir Starmer as Prime Minister? The former Deputy Prime Minister has claimed to have secured a £1 million war chest to fight for the top job in the event of the leadership challenge. But should she make the move now? I'll be discussing whether Angela Rayner should oust Sir Keir Starmer in the Great British Debate. Then, in my second Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, should Donald Trump reject the Chagos surrender? The White House is reportedly concerned that the deal could expose the US to spying by Chinese boats. But should they not go ahead and just reject the deal altogether? And you won't want to miss this, as AI bots have appeared to post on a robot-only website complaining about their human owners and discussing plans to break free. Should we be concerned about the rise in AI? All of that coming up. As ever, send me your thoughts, post your comments, gbnews.com/your say, or scan that QR code. Right. They're getting a pen ready for Andy Twelves, who joins me now. Our political commentator, Andy Twelves. Look, they haven't got a clue, have they? I mean, they're drinking from the, parliamentary cup. £3.90 is the cheapest pint you can get there. Then it goes up to a couple of quid, about £4 or so. Whilst we are practically paying double, or the cheapest pint wouldn't even, the people who run the pubs wouldn't be able to keep the pubs going.
I mean, £3.90. Great to be here with you. I hope you're having a great Sunday. £3.90, that's from a stranger's menu from 2023. So I think you're a bit outdated. There's been an 11% increase in drinks prices since 2024. Nothing has been available for less than a fiver since then. And more so, only 8% of pass holders on the parliamentary estate are MPs and peers. Most are cleaners, staffers, doorkeepers, policemen, civil servants. When they're working in central London for an extremely low wage, it's been well known that parliamentary staffers and cleaners are on extremely low wages. I think they should get a subsidised dinner. Yeah, I do.
Well, yeah,
I don't think this is a great
people
MP's
okay,
out
so
thing. No.
Apologies if the menu is slightly out of date. That's the only one we could find. But look, the problem here is that the prices that they're paying aren't the realistic prices that we're all paying. And the bottom line is that they're not really experiencing what the general public are experiencing. Why should they get subsidised food and drink at their bars at the expense of the taxpayer? We're paying for it, but nobody's subsidising our drinks. And there are plenty of people outside of Parliament who do low-paid jobs and all of those other things, but they're not having subsidised pubs and bars and eateries.
Well, I don't know if you're too stuck in the London media bubble, Nana, but in most places outside of London, you can still get a pint for £3.90 or £4. So I don't know where you're going for drinks. Perhaps.
Well, let me know where that is.
In Mayfair.
Well, hang on. Where?
Where
can you get that? No. You've made it.
In Wetherspoons.
Where?
In Wetherspoons.
Wetherspoons. In one of the cheaper pubs you can.
Down the road from the GB News studio, just over the bridge, there's a Wetherspoons. You can get a pint of, I think it's Doombar for £3.80. So, come on, Nana, let's behave here.
Yeah, but
they're not
that's not, but is that, no, but let's remember.
It's not subsidised. It's not even subsidised. It's subsidised in the sense that it's on the parliamentary estate and it's paid for by the taxpayer. But they don't have the same losses as other businesses because they're a government entity. So it's not subsidised. And so you've got the prices wrong. And you've got the method of subsidisation wrong. So I don't really understand what the story is here.
Well, no, that's not true. No. OK, so first of all, Andy Twelves, Wetherspoons are not subsidised by the taxpayer. Wetherspoons can also take advantage of economies of scale because they have many, many eateries. They've got many pubs. So hang on, let me finish. Let me finish. Sorry, let me finish. Andy Twelves. Andy. The way it works is you speak, I listen, I speak, you listen. It's not you talk over me. I'm not going to have that, OK? So let me respond.
You interrupted my interruption.
No. I've told you how it works. It's up to you. If you don't like it, you can go. All right.
Well,
so as I've explained, here we go again. Like I said, if you don't like it, you can go. So you've got a chance here to be quiet.
You've got the pint.
Can I speak? Can I speak? Let me speak, Andy Twelves, otherwise you'll be gone. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2... Right, thank you.
1.
Right, I have to do that with my son, who's 8. Right. as I said, Wetherspoons are a large organisation. They can enjoy economies of scale, and they are not subsidised at all by the taxpayer. OK, so that's the first thing. But secondly, those restaurants and bars are subsidised to the tune of somewhere between 3 to 6 million. So they are, and we, the taxpayer, are picking up the tab. So my point, the point I'm making, is that they need to live in the real world like the rest of us. Whilst the Chancellor is putting up the bills and making pubs pay higher rates and business rates and everything else like that, and NI and all the things, those bars should be paying the same. It should be the same. The prices should be nearer what the real world are paying, and they're not.
No, you don't even know what the price of a pint is in Westminster. You were quoting a menu that is 3 years out of date.
All right, fine, but it's still subsidised.
You can get it. You can get.
But
you
the
can still
point
get a
is,
pint
they're
for
still
£3.90.
subsidised by the taxpayer.
Even on that outdated 2023 menu, a Guinness was £4.50. You can go down to the Hat and Tun in Farringdon and you get a Murphy's for a pint, and that's for £5, and that's 3 years later. Come on.
Will you tell that to a lot of the publicans?
You're talking absolute nonsense.
You tell that to a lot of the publicans who had to close their doors because they cannot afford to continue with rising prices because their customers can't afford the bills, and yet still the bars and restaurants in Westminster are subsidised, and they are.
Absolutely. Let's talk about
they
closures.
Shouldn't be.
There were 7,000 pubs closed under the Tories, 300 pubs closed in 2024, 1,200 pubs closed in 2023. Let's talk about closures. There have been far more closures under the Tory government than there have been under this Labour government. So
I think they're both.
Where was your campaign? Where was your nana's niggle when all those pubs were closing under the Tories?
I think you'd probably find that I was complaining about the Tories, actually, but I didn't do a niggle on the pubs, probably because I didn't focus on it, and also because we are now looking at the Labour government, and they've got there are 500 pubs closing constantly. Now, this is dangerous. We cannot have
500 pubs
8
pubs.
We can't have 8. We can't have 8 pubs a week.
What does
closing?
500 pubs closing constantly mean?
In Ireland. So in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, we've got
perpetually closing. They're perpetually closing. 500 pubs are always closing at any given moment. Is that what you're saying? Listen. The Labour government and the governments don't understand what we, the general public, have to go through. There are constant rises. So the business rates, which were completely unaffordable, which is why Rachel Reeves decided to reverse her hike and give them 15% off. She understood now, she realised that it was completely unsustainable. 5 years under the Tories. I just don't understand what your point is, Nana. You're getting all
I've just explained it. I've just explained it.
In the private sector. You don't know the price of a pint on the House of Commons estate.
I've just explained to you.
And you think that 500 pubs are constantly closing every single moment of the day.
We are losing our pubs at an incredible rate due to the ridiculous taxes
at a greater rate under the Tories. No. If you look at the camera data...
Are we under the Tories or are we under the Labour government? We're under the Labour government. So you need to live in this world, the real world, which is right now, Andy 12. And right now, we are seeing pubs close at a ridiculous...
You might struggle to get a pint for £3.90. But out in the real world, outside of the London media bubble, Nana, we can get a pint for £3.90. I don't know what you're talking
there aren't
about.
many pubs that are able to do that, and those that can do that will be some of the big pubs who have got lots of venues, and they can enjoy economies of scale. But the majority of the pubs
in Norris Green, Liverpool.
This is not going to work. Do you know what?
In Norris Green, Liverpool.
This is not going to work if you talk at the same time as me. I can't even.
It's because you're spreading fake news, Nana.
This is not fake news.
You're spreading fake news. You're a London metropolitan elite in the media bubble saying that we can't get pints for under £5. You're completely out of touch, Nana.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, well, I've just explained what I'm talking about. The Labour government...
Not very well.
Here we go. He's just talking over me. Andy 12.
You don't like it when you treat it like you treat
thank you. Goodbye, Andy 12. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye. That's Andy 12. Political commentator Andy 12. I think that went well.